Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan. I was so excited for this game. It's been a long time since we've had a really good Ninja Turtles game. And now the creators behind Bayonetta and Transformers Devastation are handling it. This is awesome. And this can't go wrong. Well, I'm sad to say that while this is not a terrible game, it is far from the definitive Ninja Turtles game. We're still waiting on that one. One of the main reasons I wanted this game was because of the advertised online co-op mode. I love games that let you experience the entire thing with a friend, so that's the first thing I wanted to check out, of course, when I booted up the game. Oh, and those samurai outfits you're seeing right now, those are the ones I got for pre-ordering the game. They look pretty cool, but I disabled them pretty quickly. It reminds me too much of this disaster of a movie, so let's not go there right now. Anyways, back to the online co-op mode. Too bad it didn't work. That's right, it was completely broken. Every time I started a match and a friend and I jumped into a level, it would immediately boot us back to the lobby for no reason. 100% of the time. Look, I'll show you. With a strong internet connection on each side, I knew the internet connection wasn't the problem. On top of that, I tried other co-op games, and they all seemed to work just fine. The second I jumped back on Ninja Turtles, same damn problem. Already off to a bad first impression, so I decided to say screw it, I'm just gonna play the single player. And what did I see when I started the single player? A cutscene that didn't even show up when I was starting an online game. So on top of the online not working, you won't even see the story cutscenes when playing with a friend online. The game skips them automatically. This is incredibly stupid to people that actually care about some form of storytelling in their game. And I know the online got fixed later, but by the time it did, I had already beaten the game and no longer cared about playing online. It's too common now to pay full price for games that don't work as they should right out the gate, and it's a shame that this game fell victim to that. The story is a pretty standard Ninja Turtles plot, and I found that to be one of the most enjoyable aspects of the game. Shredder and Krang are working together to take over the world, as Shredder sends his foot soldiers around the city and various enemies from the Ninja Turtles Rogues Gallery to distract them. Now let's talk about those enemies you fight. As far as some of the more standard enemies you'll face, you're gonna fight a lot of different foot soldiers. Some hit you with swords, some throw bombs at you. You fight Krang's rock soldiers, you fight Mousers, and little Krangs that don't really do anything. The boss battles are where the game really shines. At the end of each stage, you face a boss that are all pulled directly from the universe of Ninja Turtles. One thing that confuses me though, is why everyone is so large. I get that Slash is based on the Nickelodeon version that's also huge, but why on earth is Karai bigger than the Turtles? She's just a regular sized human female. She's not mutated in any way, shape, or form, but she towers over them. This was obviously done more for style than for it to make any kind of sense whatsoever. And the first boss you face in the game is Bebop, which is always a pleasure to see. He's been the boss in many Ninja Turtles games, and he's always been a favorite of us 80s Turtles cartoon fans. Same goes for Rocksteady, who happens to be the second boss in the game. He's been a boss in older Turtles games just as much as Rocksteady has been. It would have been cool to fight them together the first time around, but they're both bosses in separate stages. In the third level, you fight the horrifically deformed Mutant Turtle Slash, and he looks awesome. Although, I'll always prefer the old 80s cartoon look, but that's just my nostalgia talking. This one, based on the newer Nickelodeon incarnation's fine. After that, you fight Shredder's daughter Karai, and commander of the Foot Clan, who spins around like a tornado and throws all kinds of junk at you. Armagon is one of the coolest looking Ninja Turtles villains, and I'm glad he made the cut. I mean, come on, he's basically a giant mutated shark. How could you not have him in here? And speaking of sharks, does anyone remember Street Sharks? When's that coming back? I wouldn't mind a co-op Street Sharks game. Armagon was a mutant shark from the future, and he was originally created specifically for the Archie Ninja Turtles comics, so he's really not that well known. And you fight Wingnut next, which is the alien bat from Dimension X, which in some versions, he's the only survivor of a species that Krang wiped out. And he's even been an ally to the Turtles before. Here, he's 100% a villain. And the last couple of bosses you fight are awesome. Before fighting Krang, you go through the TCRI building, and in Mega Man style, you fight all the villains that you beat previously. At the end of that stage, you fight General Krang in a robot suit, as you'd expect to see Krang in. The big surprise though is after you beat him, he turns into Mega Krang, and he's huge. As a turtle, of course, there's not a whole lot they can do against something like that.
How the heck are we supposed to stop a giant one in the freaking sky?
Conventional weaponry's not gonna cut it. We're gonna need more firepower.
Yeah, like lasers.
Lots of lasers.
So you get to ride robot suits. And this boss fight is such a highlight of the game, and one of the few things that I genuinely enjoyed and wouldn't mind doing all over again. You just jump from rooftop to rooftop and pummel him until he's down. And the final boss of the game is Shredder, where you fight him on a big platform with a giant portal in the background, threatening to destroy New York City. This fight is epic, and Shredder looks outstanding. It kind of reminds me of a mix of the final battle from the new Ninja Turtles movie and the sequel, Out of the Shadows, with a mix of the cartoon thrown in. The ending cutscene of the game is pretty satisfying, and I find that that's a rare occurrence in new games. A lot of times I beat a game and they kind of take shortcuts on the endings, leaving me unsatisfied. Now that we've established though that Mutants in Manhattan has awesome boss battles, what about the rest of the game? Graphically, the game looks fine. It looks cartoony, and I don't really have any complaints there. The gameplay is a basic hack and slash game where you do various combos by pressing X and Y, or square and triangle if you're on the PS4. And when a turtle dies, they go back to the sewers, and you have to play a little pizza eating minigame to come back to life. And one thing I like about the fighting system too is that you can upgrade the turtles' special attacks and make them stronger as you level up. And you can also mix and match the abilities across all 4 turtles and switch between them during all the levels. My favorite ability by far is Mikey's ability to make all the enemies around them start dancing, leaving them completely open to get attacked.
Let's go! Yeah, that's so good.
I thought it was hilarious. Where the game suffers the most though is the level design. And unfortunately, this is 95% of the game. The levels all look generic and boil down to city, sewers, futuristic building. Even worse than the level design is the fact that you just fight random enemies and run around doing the most boring objectives until you do enough things for the boss to appear. Some of these objectives include things like disabling bombs, destroying a certain amount of enemies, moving objects to different locations, etc. They're all cookie cutter objectives and are so bland that it gets boring really quick doing the same things over and over and over. Sometimes you even go back to the same exact places. In Slash's level, you suffer through objective after objective in the sewers. Later on, when you go to Armagon stage, it's the same sewers, and you constantly keep going down multiple floors over and over and over until you reach the boss. This level just felt like a chore. By the time it was over, I was just relieved that the level was done. I got game over the first time around fighting the boss, and I was in complete terror when I had to do that entire level over and over again, to the point that when I beat it, I told myself I was never going to play that level again. Everything looked the same, and I was just completely relieved when it was done. Mutants in Manhattan isn't a terrible game, but it's far from being a good game. You've got some epic boss battles, you've got a lot of fun moves, they nailed the personalities of the turtles, but the level design just sucks. And that's the majority of the game. So I can't justify recommending it at its current price of $40. Please, if you're a Turtles fan and you really want to check this game out, wait till it's on sale. Don't spend any more than $25 on it. It honestly just feels like they were rushing to get it out in time for the Out of the Shadows movie. If you want to play a good game from this developer, go play Transformers Devastation. That game is actually worth the money. I paid $60 for that game when it came out, and it was worth every penny. For the next Turtles game, my personal recommendation is to just make a side-scrolling beat-em-up in the same style as Turtles in Time. You know what? Screw it. Just make Turtles in Time 2. 2D side-scroller with today's graphics. And you know what? Make Casey Jones a playable character. Why not? Do it.
That's what I'm talking about! Yes!
Thanks for checking out this video. I appreciate all of you watching, and I hope you enjoyed that review. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content, and check out my other videos too. You can click some right here on this page. This is Fabian from GamerThumbTV. Cowabunga, guys.